Good evening. This work session of the ISD 279 School Board is being held in the Forum Room of the Educational Service Center at 11200 93rd Avenue North in Maple Grove on Tuesday, October 8th, 2024. The work session is being audio recorded. The recording will be made available on the district website within 2 business days after the work session has ended. With regard to the audio recording, our communications staff has asked that we share a friendly reminder that side conversations during the work session are picked up by the recorder and can affect sound quality. Also, conversations during transitions between agenda items are on the recording as well. The intent of the school board work session is to allow for school board discussion of topics. Work sessions do not include an opportunity for audience members to address the board. To acknowledge attendance this evening, I'll ask that all present at the table state their name, starting with to my left.
Jackie Mosqueda Jones, school board member.
Thomas Crooks, school board member.
Heather Douglas, school board member.
Kelly Parpart, Assistant Superintendent for Secondary Schools.
Steve Fliss, Assistant Superintendent for the elementary schools.
Joe Lewis, Senior Information Systems and Security Director.
Anthony Paris, Executive Director of Technology.
Amy Moore, General Counsel. Yvonne Schwartz-Lind, Executive Director of Human Resources.
Jill Kind, Director of Learning and Achievement.
Brian Bass, Assistant Superintendent for Equity and Achievement.
Kate Hall, Executive Director of Community Relations.
Brian Severson Hall, Executive Director of Community Engagement.
Sarah Mitchell, school board member.
Kim Heil, Superintendent.
And I, Tanya Prince, school board member, am present. The purpose of the school board work session is to build trust and teamwork, to exchange information, and when applicable, to provide direction in order to facilitate efficient and effective decision-making at regular board meetings. Dr. Heil, will you please share your check-in?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Vice Chair Prince and Chair Mosqueda Jones and our board members. We're excited for our 2 topics this evening, and we'll start off. We'll have Dr. Brian Bass introduce our guest. Well, you're not our guest, but introduce our director.
All right, thank you. Good evening, Chair Mosqueda Jones, Vice Chair Prince, members of the board, Superintendent Heil, cabinet and community members. So I'm going to storytell a bit here. Work with me. After an arduous journey through the program improvement process, piloting several curriculum materials, learning about the science of reading, navigating the shifting guidance and approved curriculum materials from the Minnesota Department of Education, we are finally implementing our new elementary reading curriculum, CKLA and 95 phonics. Tonight we have Dr. Kind, our Director of Learning and Achievement, here to share a brief history of our selection process, the components of our new curriculum, and some exciting highlights from several of our sites. I want to take a moment to express gratitude for Dr. Kind, Jamie Boyle, our Literacy Coordinator, Sarah Luby, our Elementary Assistant Director of Learning and Achievement, and all of our staff development and assessment specialists who are working alongside our site leaders and the staff to thoughtfully implement the new curriculum with such care and precision. Their leadership has been instrumental in ensuring that our students receive the best evidence-based instruction possible. I also want to extend thanks to Kay's team, who partnered with Dr. Kind and others to capture the efforts on video. So we've got some video for you this evening, giving us a window into the classroom to see how this impactful work is coming to life. It's an exciting journey, and we're thrilled to share it with all of you today. I'll turn it over to Dr. Kind to dive into the details and share more about the amazing progress we've already made.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Bass. I am actually really thrilled to be here tonight to share the work that we've done on the implementation of our elementary reading curriculum. And really, it is a credit to our teachers and the love and care that they've shown with this adoption since materials were delivered last June. The excitement as we went around and dropped off books in classrooms or told them that they were going to be in gymnasiums was palpable, and so that is always exciting. Tonight we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about the approach to structured literacy, which is what our curricular resources are based on, and we'll look at both 95 Phonics Core and CKLA. So structured literacy is a recently developed term for an older body of research. It's not new. It's just I would say maybe a rebrand of what is about explicit instruction in lots of areas. So it's grounded in the science of reading research, which is a term that is out there. It's a body of research that's over 40 years old that really refers to about the needs for 50 to 75% of students who need explicit, systematic, diagnostic instruction in order to learn how to read. It's really connected to language acquisition and how our brains acquire language. This approach is structured literacy, so let's talk about the simple view of reading. Reading comprehension has two components. There's the word recognition component and the language comprehension component. When both of these skills are mastered, we become highly skilled and strategic readers. We have the skill of comprehension. If one of those is missing, our comprehension decreases. Now, reading is not this simple. Reading is actually really complex, and this image is called the reading rope. This visual represents the many skills that need to be developed to be a skilled reader. So you can see on the bottom, there are the word recognition. So knowing your letters, knowing your letter sounds, knowing how to pronounce your letters, decoding skills, spelling, and ensuring that students have those, as well as those skills in the language comprehension strand. So building well-rounded background knowledge in students, understanding how language is structured, getting into the idea of linguistics and morphology, root words, prefixes, suffixes, and a deep knowledge of vocabulary. We want the bottom half to be automatic so that students know when they see a letter that's shaped like an A, the sound that it makes and how it's used, whether it's used in the middle of a word, at the end of a word. And then we want them to know all of the strategies from the top on how to use their decoding skills to apply it to read a text. That's what skilled reading is. So structured literacy, this is the content. It's also an approach. Structured literacy has four main components. It's sequential, systematic, explicit, and diagnostic. So sequential instruction, skills are taught in a logical order and build on each other. So you're going to learn a consonant, vowel, consonant word before you start blending your letters together. And it proceeds from there. And there are charts galore when you Google sequential instruction in phonics. They'll show you the exact progression that is often used. It doesn't work for every student, but that gets to the diagnostic piece, right? We use the data from sequential instruction, informal and formal, to make decisions about what needs to be next for each individual student. Systematic, teachers move from less complex to more complex topics. And there's a connection between the simple topic and the complex topic. So there's an order to it. And it's explicit. There's clear and direct instruction of skills, topics, and concepts. But skills are also, they're all broken down, modeled. Students are given feedback and practice on them until they can do them independently and automatically. So in 2023, May, Governor Walz signed the Reading to Ensure Academic Development Act, friendly known as the READ Act. The READ Act has 7 components. I'll talk about a few of them. Teachers need to complete professional learning prescribed by the READ Act. So in May 2024, the READ Act 2.0 was passed because what legislators and NDE heard was the original timeline to complete 80 hours of professional learning in 1 year was really not realistic for teachers. So they've extended that deadline, and that works really well for us because last year we had our pre-K through teachers complete part 1. This now gives us a year to implement our curriculum and learn about our curricular resources. And then next year we can do part 2 and bring in our 4 or 5 teachers to complete that professional learning. Additionally, the READ Act requires us to give certain screenings 3 times a year. Fortunately, FastBridge, our screening tool, is one of those tools that is on that list. Results of the screenings have to be submitted annually via our local literacy plan, which also changed templates this summer. And so all of those are posted on our website. And the last piece that impacted us greatly was the mandate of curricular resources be on the list from MDE. So MDE and the Center for Applied Research and Education went through a process to approve curriculum that was aligned to the science of reading. And so they eventually made a list that has 4 different levels. It is highly aligned, partially aligned, minimally aligned, or not aligned at all. Only resources that are highly aligned are allowable for reimbursement under the READ Act dollars. Our resources are partially aligned in Minnesota. In other states, 38 states have adopted CKLA because of its alignment to the science of reading. What we know from the rubrics that we were made available from the Center for Applied Research is the areas where they weren't aligned, and now we can work with our teacher teams to develop materials to fill in those gaps. And that is something that we're doing. We started last summer and will continue throughout the year. So let's talk about our process of how we got to selecting 95 phonics core and CKLA. This started in the 21-22 school year, learning about what is structured literacy and what are the resources out there. Science of reading is not new. Many companies market themselves as being aligned with the science of reading. And when we first started to pilot in 22-23, one of the things our teachers noticed is that these resources were in fact not aligned to the science of reading. And so in the 22-23 school year, we had a failed pilot. Our teachers did not believe that the resource selected was good enough for our students. So we went back and found other resources. We find 95 Phonics Core, CKLA, and Wit and Wisdom. We piloted those. We had 45 teachers pilot. Each teacher piloted all of the resources. So they piloted CKLA and 95 Core for 9 weeks, and then Wit and Wisdom for 9 weeks as well. At the end of that 9 weeks, the 18 weeks, our teachers came together and we reached consensus. And I've been a part of a lot of pilots in ASIO, and I will say that this is the fastest a group of teachers has ever reached consensus. 96% of teachers agreed with 95 Phonics Core off the bat because they saw the results in the short time that they used it. The other piece that we really worked on was making sure that we had professional learning for all teachers. So once we made a decision to move forward with 95 Phonics Core and CKLA, last May, our grades 4 and 5 teachers who were employed in the system had a full day of professional learning on it. Our pre-K 3 teachers and new 4-5 teachers had a full day this August on that training. All of our system monthly professional learning, our professional learning days, is dedicated to the learning of these resources. So let's talk about 95 Phonics Core. This is developed the bottom strand of the reading row. It's really our foundational skills curriculum. It's 30 minutes a day. One of the things that our teachers really liked about 95 Phonics Core is that it was K-5. Many foundational skills programs are only K-2. So students engage in learning for 30 minutes each day. Each lesson has a specific focus. So for day 5 in kindergarten, we worked on the letters M, D, and G. The kindergartners practiced making the sound of the letter. They learned about the mouth formations that those letters make, and then they practiced writing the letter. In second grade, silent letters and the unpredictability of vowel rolls start showing up. And then in 5th grade, students are solidifying their foundational skills, but they're also deep into word study. 95 Phonics, you'll see in the video in a moment, uses hand motions, manipulatives, consistent visual cues to help students learn. So this first video is from our 1st grade classroom. They're engaging in their 95 Phonics Core. So you're going to see some whole group learning. They're going to talk about taking away the beginning sound and replacing it, and moving on to practice with the vowel short E.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, here we go. McDonald's, here we go. Say let. Let. Change O to B. Bet. Good job. Say sat. Sat. Change S to hat. Great job, okay? Say that first sound that we're changing first. Say him. Him. Everybody. Him. Say it again. Him. Change to R. Rim. Good. Say dog. Dog. Tristan, change D to O. Wow, good. Say bit. Bit. Change B to Hit. Good job. We're going to stop right there.
So now they've transitioned to seat work, and they'll start working.
It still was 3 sounds. We still checked that. Head. Head. Still 3 sounds. Okay, now let's check our chips. What color? Blue. I can't believe nobody had that before. I'm surprised. You guys keep me on my toes. What color? Blue. Red. Red. There's my vowel sound. What do I need? Blue. Blue. Okay, now that we have the right sounds, now we can write it in. I want you to try in your book writing the sounds to match that. Writing your sounds. Nice, Linnea. Wow, that was so fast. Red. Say red. Red. Like the color red. Great job. Your turn. So the lesson ends where they look at a passage and highlight everywhere a short vowel E is used. So the chips, the blue chips represent a consonant sound, the red chip a vowel sound, and they do that consistently throughout K5. Our next clip brings us to what what 95 Phonics Core looks like in a 5th grade classroom. So from 1st grade to 5th grade. Students have been given root words, prefixes, and suffixes, and asked to determine what words they can make from this group of prefixes, suffixes, and root words. So as you listen, it's sort of chaotic, as a classroom often is, right, with the sound, but you're going to hear this young man and his partner process their thinking.
This chain. So we're doing distainment. And it seems like a word. Or, how about we just write that down? All right, my friends.
So that was a in-partner activity, and all students around the room were engaged in that activity. So you can see how it changes over time. So now we're going to move on to talk about CKLA. CKLA is the upper part of our strand, which is the language comprehension, and it's designed to help students build background knowledge and vocabulary through critical reading and listening. So teachers introduce, present, we have discussions, read-alouds in each unit to build students' listening and reading comprehension and oral language skills. The wheel in the upper right-hand corner represents the parts of the day. So we have our daily lessons. We have pausing points. These are opportunities to review, reinforce, or extend the content taught this far. We have a domain review. It's just their fancy word for a unit. So the end of unit reviews, which are, again, an opportunity to reinforce material. And then the domain assessment, how we look at how students are working towards mastery of the standards. And then we have culminating activities, remediation and enrichment for individual students based off of the data. Our focus this year is really on deep implementation. We want teachers to feel comfortable with the materials and differentiating for students. To that end, we've partnered with classroom teachers, including EMO and site leaders, to start drafting a learning walk template that we can use to visit classrooms to see implementation in action and determine the next steps for professional learning, because it's the ongoing professional learning and coaching that's going to matter most as we make this implementation more successful. So this video is going to be a little bit longer. It's not the entire 60 minutes. You're welcome. But I will say, it was so hard choosing videos because there's just so much deep implementation happening, and which was great to see. But this is the start of a new unit, again in first grade. It's going to bounce between 2 classrooms.
Share what we already know about how our body works. I have a chart we'll use for that, and you're going to put what you know on a sticky note. It says we are going to learn about the job of a pediatrician. We'll talk about what a pediatrician is today. We're going to explain how the body is a network of systems. Whew, that part sounds tricky to me. We're going to demonstrate 2 words today, systems and organs, and then we'll make a topic sentence together. Oh my goodness, that's a big to-do list. Do you think you got it?
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
No.
Let's first look at all of our vocabulary words today. Okay, the next word on our list is
So I'm going to pause it here because one of the things that was interesting is the school is getting ready to have a drill. So the teacher literally just paused class, walked over and did what she needed to do, and they came right back together. So it was maybe a 35-second pause. But the students are right on point with this vocabulary exercise.
network. And a network is a group of parts or systems that work together. So can you do this for me? Wiggle your fingers. And they're going to work together. So it's a whole bunch of different systems. We're going to talk about that word systems. So imagine each of my fingers, right? They're a different part and they all work together. And that network is a group of systems that work together. Say network. Network. Great. The next.
So after going through each of the vocabulary words, teachers again engage in a priming or introductory activity called KWL. What do you know? What do you wonder? What will we learn? It's a routine that they will use throughout the unit. So this activating of prior knowledge is designed to get students thinking. So our video is going to pick up with a conversation.
Just like other things, like cars, sometimes cars don't work so well. So when your car's not working so well, you have to bring it somewhere to what? To get it fixed, okay? Well, what happens?